Okay.
Yeah.
I apologize then. Shout out to Ben Violin for getting that wrong then, because I just basically retweeted his.
Nah, I'm not saying it's wrong because it might have just so happened. Okay, you know, let's bring the kids out, especially today for sure. But
Right.
no, he's done it in the past. He's brought his kids out plenty. I've seen his kids plenty of times. Like, yep, he does.
So even after the good wins.
Yep.
All
See
right.
the kids,
Good to know.
Hear him giggling and laughing and whatnot. So yeah, he's done that. So that's one of those things where take it how you want, but he's done it before. So
yeah, that's a fair point. As we continue here on episode 116 of Stats Over Politics, Shaun Holko alongside Kaz Johnson and Jaevon Toddy. Guys, let's wrap things up with our speedy Week 6 NFL recap. So, Jaevon, I'm going to start out with you as your Bears defeated the Jaguars 35-16 in London.
Caleb's a top 15 quarterback. He's back, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know what you guys want me to say. His passer rating in week 1 was like 82, and now it's like at 120. I mean, he's getting better every week in and week out. Threw 4 touchdown passes this last game. It could have been 5 if that DeAndre Swift push pass wouldn't have gotten called back. But, I mean, this guy, man, if he's continued to play at this level, this offense can be very scary. Keenan Allen obviously had 2 touchdowns. Cole Kmet, obviously the 2. They have DJ Moore. Then they also have their other first-round pick in Rome Odunze. And when they're firing on all cylinders, it's a very scary team to watch out for. A lot of people are going to say, they're beating up on bad teams. Caleb's a rookie. He's a rookie quarterback. Like, he's doing these – you're expecting him to do this, that, and the third. Like, this is his first year playing football in the NFL.
Well, we are because you've been saying for 2 years that he's a top 15 quarterback in the NFL. So that's why we are. But
so what you're telling me is Toddy does what Cowboys fans do. You're digging himself a hole because you're talking too much about this guy instead of letting him show us early on. You're like, no, this guy's gonna be it. He's this and that, and then it takes a while for him to get the wheels going, and now you're like, been telling you guys this is like. We wasn't never knocking the guy. You just put him on this pedestal before, he even suited up one time.
Hey, man, Caleb balling. He out there. So all I got to say is he's out there. He's doing his Dougie, man. I'm proud of him. He's going to just continue to keep getting better and better every single week as the year goes on. And the Bears are going to climb in to the playoff race.
Kaz, the Texans beat the Patriots 41-21.
What do you want me to say about this game?
That the Patriots are buns. Hey, Drake May played.
Yeah, he did. He had
touchdown.
Yeah, I'm saying, yeah, he had I think 250, something like that through the air.
Did all right.
Something like something like that. Anyways, Texans are better. They're better. I'll tell you this. I tweeted, who's ready for Tank Dell to regain his rightful crown as the best wide receiver in Houston, and that's exactly what happened right away. Tank Dell found the end zone. He had a good chunk of fantasy points, but yeah, Patriots are just a really bad team. You got a bottom tier team going against a top tier team, and what do you expect to happen? So, Texans just did what they were supposed to do. That's it, man. Sometimes you don't have to really touch base on a game like that. You just know what it is, and it was expected. And they, unlike my Eagles, executed against a very bad team. So that's what it should look like. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's what it's supposed to look like. And they did it without Nico Collins, the leading receiver in the NFL. You know what I'm saying? They did it without the best receiver right now in the NFL. And you still go out there and go, you know what? This is a bad team. Let's go ahead and just bend them over real quick and get up out of here. That's what they did. Why can't my team do that? I don't know why. But they did it. It was expected.
You took the words right out of my mouth because that was the only thing I was going to say about it is that they actually took care of business like the Eagles should have. 243 passing yards for Drake May. So good for him. So for me, the Baltimore Ravens beat the Washington Commanders 30-23. Uncle Manny was saying in our group chat that this is the game that the Commanders can prove if they're the real deal. And they lost by a touchdown on the road. They also proved that they are the real deal. And my biggest takeaway from this is that I absolutely love the connection that has developed between Jaden Daniels and Scary Terry McLaurin because it took them a couple weeks. They finally got going. OHIO, a.k.a. wide receiver U. I absolutely love it because Terry finally got himself a motherfucking quarterback. Let's go. Jaevon, I'm hopping on the Commanders bandwagon with you because I hate the Cowboys, I hate the Eagles, and I'm just proud of Scary Terry for performing when he finally got himself a quarterback. But Commanders are for real. The Ravens proved that they are still one of the AFC's best. So Jaevon, the Packers, they beat the Cardinals 34-13.
Jordan Love's back. Romeo Dobbs is back. He was in the news this past week, because there's some things he missed practice or whatever, and this, that, and the third, and he goes out and scores 2 touchdowns. I think the Cardinals are a fun, feisty team. I don't know if they're a good team, although they did beat the 49ers. Sometimes feisty can get you a couple of those wins that you're not supposed to win. Marvin Harrison Jr., I think, went out in this game with a concussion, if I'm not mistaken.
I think so.
That's tough to see because that's pretty much what Kyler's been throwing the ball to. But the Packers kind of flexed their muscles a little bit in this game. And down the line, they're going to be one of those teams in the NFC that are going to be competing for, that top NFC spot.
So normally this gets tossed to Toddy just because of his boy Baker Mayfield, but Kaz, the Buccaneers beat the Saints 51-27.
Here's what I was saying: if you're gonna throw, I think 3 interceptions.
Baker,
I think so.
Yeah, 3. Can you guys stat check me on that real quick? Regardless, if you're gonna throw 3 interceptions, you do it in 51-point fashion. You understand that? You see what I'm saying? That's what you do. So that all the interceptions that you throw, when it comes to that, you put up 51. Perspective. I'm gonna ask you guys this: Brock Purdy puts up 51 points in the game, 4 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Are you guys mad?
No, not at all.
No,
I mean, as long as the defense doesn't give up 52 points and they lose.
My point exactly. And they handled business. The Bucs are, as of this year, they're the team that I'm most scared of because Baker Mayfield absolutely owns Philadelphia. I don't know how, I don't know why, but he just does. And I hope I never see them ever. Ever. I'm serious. If you guys think I'm joking, if we run into them in the playoffs, I'll put all my money on the Buccaneers to win that game. But no, just the Buccaneers are just continuing to prove that this isn't a fluke. Last season wasn't a fluke when they beat us in the playoffs. The starts of this season, which is really good. I mean, they're playing against good teams and competing, and in some cases winning. Dude, like they're good. So that was a game that was expected. I didn't know it was gonna be that bad, but like I like the Buccaneers fire, man. Like Baker Mayfield he's a footballer. Like I'm not sure if you guys know what that means. He's perspective. Johnny Manziel at Texas A&M. That's what Baker Mayfield is in the NFL. There's only a couple quarterbacks like that, and he's one of them. He might be the best at that. So as long as that guy's out there having fun and moving the sticks, and his team's rallying behind him, the Buccaneers are going to continue to be a really good team. So they put up 51, and Baker had when you look at the stat chart, you see the 3 interceptions, but then you see the numbers. It's like, don't great quarterbacks do that? Aaron Rodgers has done it. Peyton Manning's done it. Tom Brady's done it. Put up a lot of points, throw a few picks, you still win the game. So Buccaneers are continuing to prove that they're one of the – dude, the NFC is loaded, bro. Like, the NFC is, like, loaded this year.
Finally. Last year was not at all.
No. And you know what's crazy is we're still trying to figure out who the hell the Niners are and the Eagles are, and maybe the Cowboys make a surge like they – we don't even know about even those 3 teams alone, right? And look at the rest. Look at the rest. NFC North, the Buccaneers, hell, the Falcons. I mean – NFC's loaded, man, and the Bucs are probably a top 4 team, top 5 team.
So the Colts, they beat the Tennessee Titans 20-17. Joe Flacco continues to prove that he is a serviceable NFL quarterback. Good for him, because I thought his career was over. I spent most of his career hating Joe Flacco just because of him defeating the 49ers in the Super Bowl. But, I'm kind of lightweight becoming a Joe Flacco fan just because he is just continuing to prove himself time and time again. This is still Anthony Richardson's team. but Flacco is one of the best backup quarterbacks in the NFL, even at his age. So good for him. By the way, get Calvin Ridley the fucking ball because he is going insane. I saw an interview with him after the game where the reporters were saying, like, what could you do better? Blah, 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 blah. There was an interception that was thrown that way, and he was like, yeah, I could have played better defense. A wide receiver is saying, I could have played better defense. I could have gone and tackled him. And then the reporter was asking him, is there something you could do better with your targets because you finished with 0 catches for 0 yards? And he said, yeah, when did I get those targets? Oh, all in the fourth quarter? I need the fucking ball earlier so I can get in the game. That's a direct quote from Calvin Ridley. Get him the ball, please. Fucking Mayo Man in the coffee. Come on, Will Levis. Get him the fucking ball. Jaevon, the Chargers beat the Broncos 23-16.
Broncos or the Chargers flexed their muscles pretty early. I saw Jim Harbaugh leave the game early, like for like a medical thing, but he ended up coming back, which is pretty cool. Glad to see that he's okay. But the Broncos kind of made a late push at the end, but it was pretty much too little, too late for them as the Chargers kind of, iced the game at the end. But Chargers are like one of those teams that a lot of people aren't really talking about. I did pick them to go to the playoffs, but I think they'll be in the mix to definitely make the playoffs. Kind of thinking the AFC is in a down year. If you're looking at it from a perspective, we thought that that NFC North, that the NFC North would be a gauntlet. There'd be a bunch of teams come out of there. You obviously have the Chiefs, the reemergence, I guess, of the Jets, and obviously having the Bills in that division. But the Chargers are going to be one of those teams that they're going to be in a lot of close games, and I think they're going to win a bunch of games. So watch out for the Chargers.
Yeah, I'm glad that Jim Harbaugh was able to get back on the sideline. It seemed like he was dealing with something with his heart, which is no joke, and he dealt with that late in his 49ers tenure. So I just hope he's okay. And so, Kaz, I'm going to take this next game because I have to hear you talk about the one afterwards. The Steelers beat the Raiders 32-13. Shout out to our guy, Gary, former co-host here on Stats Over Politics. He was there in Vegas for the game with brother Jesse, and they were able to watch the Steelers absolutely dog walk the Raiders. I mean, I don't know really what to think of the Raiders. If you're going from Gardner Minshew to Aiden O'Connell, you're not getting better. And I think Antonio Pierce is a good coach just because he's simply a good leader of men. It kind of stops there. Max Crosby got the Raiders tatted on him. It might be best for him to get traded. And I saw Kevin shared a proposed trade today about him potentially going back to Michigan and playing for the Lions, which he would fill in for Aiden Hutchinson, who broke his leg in the win against the Cowboys. And next year, the two of them playing with each other would be absolutely ridiculous. But, Kaz, that leads us into the next game because the Lions, on Jerry Jones' birthday, won in Dallas 47-9.
That lessened the blow a little bit for my Eagles win. That was so embarrassing because holy shit, man. I took the Cowboys to win this week. I was like, okay, are they going to drop 3 at home? They lose to the Saints at home, get their ass beat for the Saints. Then the Ravens handle business at home. I'm like, okay, wait a minute. Cowboys don't lose at home. This isn't what they do. They haven't lost at home for like 2 years. Okay, something's got to give. This will be the game where the Dallas Cowboys will win. All the fans will show up, flexing their muscles. Yeah, well, we them boys, Yeah, I was like, it's gonna be the game. It's gonna be annoying. We're gonna lose to the Browns, and they're gonna win, and it's just gonna be hell. Well, it didn't happen, and it didn't happen because Dak Prescott cannot beat contenders. He is who he is, and I say Dak Prescott because, like I was talking about Geno Smith earlier. No, that motherfucker lost. That him. It was him. I can point the finger at Dak. It was him. Okay? I can't say the same thing about guys like Geno Smith. But that shit there, Dak looked terrible. It was awesome to witness. I loved it. I was calling my Cowboys fans. I didn't even call them. I FaceTimed them. I had to see the face. So a couple of my homies got FaceTimed. And I'm like, talk to me. They said some things I can't say on here because you might get banned. But just know the best part about that ass whooping from the Lions was the picture of Jerry Jones' face where it scores 47-9, and he's just sitting there. It says his 82nd birthday.
Oh my
Like,
god.
I'm like, that man, for the sake of the rest of his life, needs to just go ahead and just hang it up and go and enjoy the private island you probably own, brother. Because holy shit, that was bad. That was bad. And you did it in Jerry World. And Cowboys fans, if you guys don't know this, okay, I've been to a couple Cowboys games, Eagles Cowboys games or whatever, and I have a lot of Cowboys fans because they're fucking everywhere. They do not do well when they lose at home. They are in. I'm talking like the whole AT&T Stadium is like a big ball depression. I almost feel bad. I'm like, damn, you guys are really sad walking out wearing your goddamn blue
That's a
jean
really
short,
sad.
wearing your blue jean shorts and your dusted ass Jordans and your in your Tony Romo jersey and Jason Witten jerseys and your cowboy hats looking like idiots. To witness that was awesome. Happy birthday, Jerry. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to Jera. Jaevon, Kirko, Chains, Cousins, and the Falcons beat the Panthers 38-20.
The Falcons almost rushed for 200 yards in this game. Algier had 100 yards, and I think Bijan almost had 100. I think he had like 98 yards. I feel like that was the difference. Kyle Pitts was out there making plays, which is good. Darnell Mooney is a guy that I think was a really underrated signing because he was really good for the Bears with Justin Fields, but kind of got swept under the rug because Justin Fields was quarterback. But I think the Falcons I think they're going to win that division, the NFC South. They had the head-to-head with the Bucs, and the Bucs was the team who I kind of was thinking would give them fits, and they did in the game that they played on Thursday night last week. But this was a game that the Falcons kind of had to, win pretty handedly. They're favored by 6, ended up covering. I did see a tweet, Orlovsky. He was saying, what the hell are the Panthers doing? Why is Bryce Young playing? They're 1-5. The season's over. These are the games that he needs to develop in. I get it. Panthers are ass. And these are the games that Bryce Young has to get some experience in. And Andy Dalton is a however many year vet. And he's kind of stunning the growth of Bryce Young. And Bryce Young's not playing. He's just holding the clipboard, and they're still losing. So it's like, what are we doing here? Let's get the kid out there and let's let him play. So see it from both sides. What does Bryce Young become a potential trade piece? We've said that on previous podcasts before, or is he going to stay in Carolina? Not sure where. David Tepper and that organization, what direction are they going in? Couldn't tell you. But the Falcons do win this game pretty good.
Kaz, finally, to wrap us up, your opponent coming up, and I say your being the Eagles, obviously. The Giants lost to the Bengals at home on Sunday Night Football, 17-7. So the Bengals finally get the win. I mean, I just have to say real quickly before we get your thoughts on this game is that we were talking earlier about a must-win game for the 49ers in Week 6. This was a must-win for the Bengals.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think the Bengals make the playoffs. I think what was that stat that they were talking about? No team like in the last bazillion years that started off 0-3 like made the playoffs or something like that. I don't think that they're going to be the team that's going to break that cycle. I mean, they're going to need to go on a massive win streak, and from the looks of it, Joe Burrow's playing phenomenal this season. It's just not enough. There's just too many really good teams like the Ravens that's in their division. Pittsburgh right now in their division alone, let alone, other teams like the Chiefs are going to be there and guys like that. So, a must win for hope. But like I've mentioned before, the Giants are a solid team when they have their best player, Malik Neighbors, suited up. Was he suited up? Nope. And that's all. That's it. That's it. So no Malik Neighbors, no Giants win. And that's going to be the case anytime that he's out of the game. So you need Malik Neighbors to win. If you're a New York Giant, you're not going to win games without him. And the Bengals, again, it's just, talent-wise, like I mentioned about the Eagles earlier, it's like they just have more talent. You don't need to have a crazy scheme written up to beat a team like the Giants. just outmanned them. Bone on bone, who's better? The Bengals are better. It's just that simple. So, Joe Burrow looking like an idiot, making stupid faces again, acting like somebody he's not. I'm not sure if you guys saw that clip is awkward. It's like I'm like, okay, I like you, Joe Burrow, but like you look at you're kind of looking a little suspect right now, brother. But
That was funny.
it was really awkward. I'm like, I can't watch this more than 2 times, but I keep watching it. It's like a bad car accident. I'm like, stop. I'm like, just stop making a face. What is that? Like that? Stop. Okay, I get it, but yeah, the Bengals, they're just more talent on that team. And like you said, Shaun, it was a must-win for hope, and they got it. So good job. You beat the Malik Neighbors-less New York Giants.
And not to contradict your point, this is really just to add on in terms of bagging on the Seahawks. But the Seahawks, oh wow, light finally just came on. Wow. Anyways, the Seahawks, they lost to a Malik Neighbors-less Giants team, which makes that loss just not make sense even more. And that's why, despite their 2 or 3 losses in this streak being against some of the NFC's elite, I will continue to say, and maybe this is just me being a 49ers fan and a hater, the Seahawks are frauds. Geno Smith may not be the problem, but the Seahawks are frauds. Anyways, that's